We'll try not to tax you too much. Would you like to go first, Sue?
Yeah, I'm happy to do that. Yeah, I've got three. I could probably find another one if we're desperate, but I've got three, and I'll start sort of light-hearted. It gets a bit darker. This is called "Don't Take a Poet Out for Lunch." Don't take a poet out for lunch, for we are balanced on a cliff edge, dreaming sunsets, midnight, autumn leaves, incessant rain, collecting petals, feathers, photos, scraps of papers, metaphors, disjointed lines we reposition fruitlessly and endlessly. Don't take a poet out for lunch, for we're always gently probing, though we do not analyze. It isn't motives we are looking for, but words, a path, a coup de foudre, a change of key, some nuanced mood. Be warned that everything you give away ends up as stanza fuel. But mostly we are lost, all hunting for our faces in a foxed, uncertain mirror. So don't ever play the game of saying what you think, for there is no safe answer. Everything you offer up, however helpful, soothing, apposite, is never quite enough. Yeah. And this is a pantoum. I had to go at a pantoum. One of the other groups I belong to sort of explained how they work, so I did this one. It's called An Understanding. Time moves in separate rings, though we are not the centre. Our garden waits to flower. To be patient is to wait. Though we are not the centre, we've told each other everything. To be patient is to wait. There is no ending for us. We've told each other everything, so I will wait for you. There is no ending for us, but there's nothing that we want. So I will wait for you. Time moves in separate rings, but there's nothing that we want. Our garden waits to flower. And this is my gloomy one for the night. Parable. And it's because I had a stroke when I was younger, and it's about that really. Death came to me late autumn at first light. He gripped me briefly, said, "Not yet, daughter. This is not your time." When death surrendered me and I was sure that he had gone, I got up, stood beside my bed, breath quiet with gratitude, with miracle. And morning went on in the street outside. His touch was sharp, cold as a cave, myrrh scented, absolute. He will return. I hover newborn in between the worlds. Often I will lose my way. I fold the edges of my wasted life as neatly as I can and learn to pray. Thanks for listening.
Well, it's a pleasure. Beautiful poems. Absolutely lovely. I think everyone enjoyed those. Really, really nice. Have you got another book soon, Sue?
I've got another book, which, we'd like to. It's called Between the Words, and it's just come out with Cinnamon Press.
Between the Words.
Between the Words, yeah. And I'm actually reading. I'm doing a reading on the 14th of May. I'll let you know the details, but in Clapham Books in Clapham Common, just by the Tube. And it's 14th of May, it's 7 till probably 9 o'clock. I don't think it'll be that late, but me and two other poets are doing a reading for Cinnamon's 20th anniversary year. It's their 20th anniversary there. So if anyone could come, it'd be wonderful. But I know it's difficult really with evening stuff kind of is not great sometimes, but yeah, it'd be lovely.
Sue, how can I purchase the book?
And it'll be on Amazon. You can get it on Amazon. Yeah. It's available now, yeah.
Amazon.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
It's there. Thank you. That would be great. And I definitely buy yours as well, Steve. I look forward to that.
Yeah. What's your surname?
Lewis.
Sue Lewis.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks. Thank you.
Yes. Great.
send the details of the reading nearer the time.
I will. Yes, please,
Birthday.
Peter. That'd be great. Thank you. Just in case anyone can come, be great.
Thank you. Thank you.
I found the first poem really witty. I mean, a lot of people say that poets are out to lunch, don't they? When you say you write poetry, oh, you must be out to lunch, which is a kind of insult. Yeah, but it was very clever. And time works in separate ways, you know. It does. Really good poems, lovely. Yeah. Yeah, well, we can go to the Isle of Wight now and listen to Steve, if we would, in the Isle of Wight.
Yeah, just to correct you, George, I'm in Chichester at the moment.
Oh, right.
Multi-location existence,
Yes,
yeah?
I know.
So, yes, well, greetings from Chichester. Yeah, I'd like to start off by reading.
Lost your sound, Steve. We've lost your sound. Can't hear you.
You're muted now. You weren't a little.
Can you
Try
hear me
again.
now?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, got it now.
Fabulous. Okay, so this first poem is an interpretation of Ovid's story of Niobe, and especially an interpretation of the 1717 translation. If I can just find it, if you give me a second. Yes, here we go. Queen Niobe knew Arachne well, and out of grief and out of anger, not of pride as many biased recollections blandly state, she made a boast to Leto, mother of Diana and Apollo. Titan's daughter, look at your poor progeny, a meager pair. Equate them with my fruitful bounty. Gods may rule and try their best to keep the human race oppressed, but when it comes to giving birth, they lack the will to reproduce. If any words could be consigned to famous final words, it's these. From distant clouds, the son of daughter of the mother Leto came to kill Niobe's brood with deadly bows and arrows and intent. Outside the walls there lay a training ground, a sandy surface far extending round the city walls of Thebes. It daily sees Niobe's sons, a young and healthy breed, in exercise and riding on their steeds. Of these Ismenos, who by birth had been the first fair issue of the fruitful queen, was drawing reins to guide his stately horse around the compass of the circling course, when suddenly he felt a stabbing pain. A shaft had struck and split his manly groin. The reins were drooping in his shaking hand. He slowly sank and tumbled in the sand. Sipylus next received a speeding shaft, discharged with art and charged with godlike craft. It flew into his neck and trembling stood, protruding from his throat and smeared with blood. Young Phaedimus and Tantalus were next. The pair, when other exercise was done, would play the wrestlers' oily sport for fun, and straining nerves their youthful skill expressed through friendly grappling, joining breast to breast, when from a Titan's bow an arrow sent through both their brawling, oily bodies went. They cried aloud and writhed their limbs in pain and fell together bleeding on the plain. With grief Alphenas saw their doleful plight and smote his breast, and sickened at the sight, embraced his brother, then received a dart, Apollo guided, driving through the heart. And Damastheon, by a double wound, both innocent and young, lay on the ground, and in his ham a steely point descended to the nervous joint, and as he tugged the painful dart, another struck him in the heart. Ilonius with terror stood and pleaded to the mighty gods. They heard too late a bending bow had sent a shaft and struck a blow which gently gored his tender side. so by an easy wound he died. Niobe's daughters followed suit. Phthia, stricken in the heart, in vain attempts to draw the dart. Her youth defies, and then to death resigns her fate, and on a brother's corpse reclines. Anthera, by her dying sister, feels her breast explode apart, and sees a piercing point appear, and breathes away her hopes and fears. In flight, Chioni's thoughts are placed. In hiding from her fate, she seeks in vain some shelter, fills the air surrounding her with frightful shrieks. Phrygia, Chius, Ephidaia see their sisters die and see the arrows fly and stare at this phenomenon. And as they do, more arrows fall, and all the daughters find their way to death with only Chloris left. Niobe calls the gods to leave her and implores the great Diana, grant me this. But Chloris dies by fatal arrow, winged with death. Her parting lips could only ask in vain for breath. Phrygia, Chloris, Phthia, Chione, Thera, Chius, Ephidaia, murdered in their native city, killed by arrows from the clouds.
Wonderful rhythm and rhyme to it. It's a lovely epic.
Powerful.
Incredible.
Can I
All
ask
has
you?
some contemporary relevance, I think, resonance relevance. Yeah.
Can I ask you, Steve? I mean, are you a classicist, or have you just translated from another translation, or
Yeah.
how
The
do you?
latter. So yeah, no, I don't
Yeah.
speak Latin, but I moved into poetry by reading Marlowe's translations of Ovid, and that first hooked me.
Fascinating. Yeah.
And then, Dryden as well, at that period, because as a drummer, I love the rhythm, of that period, the iambic pentameter and
And it's beautiful. It's lovely. I'm trying to, and the reason I'm asking is I'm trying to learn Latin. I've just started doing it. It's great fun, but it's really, really hard.
Yes,
Right, so
yes. I tried and gave up.
okay, thanks.
Well, those complicated names, trip off the tongue. Well, Steve, it must be the Liverpool gift for talking, I think.
I'm sure it's Liverpool pronunciation. Yeah.
Oh, lovely. That's really good. Thank you very much. It's amazing. You can do some more later on, or?
I am, yes.
Yeah, it'd be great. Okay. Thank you. Now, Steve.
Yes, sir.
Yes, that's it's difficult having two Steves. Steve J. Yes.
Okay, brilliant.
Steve R and Steve J. will have to do. Okay, you ready to go, Steve?
I'm ready, George.
Okay.
This one's called Peace. How wouldn't it be marvelous if we could live in peace? No more to make wars or to tease. Seeing people live together hands in hands, forgetting the wrong issues. Like a great band. All through history, there's been unsettlement, people against each other like a bad commandment. Let's live in peace and see what the morrow will bring as we consider our attitudes, conduct, and start rehearsing the live good factor to demonstrate peace, which will be goodness and love so that we are pleased. Never mind what countries or wars proclaim. Let's get together and see a harmony straight to the end. This one's called Inclusion. There needs to be good morals of inclusion to bring forth a settlement of order, living as an example for the young ones, so as we won't be influenced to do wrongs. It takes bravery and good inclusive behavior, praying each and every day, looking up to the Savior. Include tolerance and love and show kindness to those who for years has been infiltrated with badness. Governments over the years have let down the country only to give false hope and incorrect deities. Include yourselves to stick stick out like a sore thumb, so that all the tolerance will stop all problems. And then one day it will be written that all folly going on will all be smitten. Thank you, George.
Well, thank you, Steve. Lovely sentiments in them poems. If only the world was like that, you know, the way you see
I
it.
know,
Be
I
a
know, I
wonderful
know, I
place.
know, I know, I know, I know. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's how I feel, you know, George. That's how I feel. Yeah,
yeah, very good.
yeah, yeah,
As it's the theme of World Poetry Day, you know, about peace
yeah,
and inclusion. You
yeah.
picked up well on it. Would you read Peace for us again? Because I like that one a lot. Would that be okay?
Read peace again, yeah?
Yeah, on
Sure,
peace.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
How wouldn't it be marvelous if we could live in peace? No more to make wars or to tease, seeing people live together hands in hands, forgetting the wrong issues and form a great bond. All through history, there has been unsettlement, people against each other like a bad commandment. Let's live in peace and see what the morrow will bring as we consider our attitudes, conduct, and start rehearsing to live the live good factor to demonstrate peace, which will be the goodness and love so that we are pleased, never mind what comes of what countries of wars proclaim. Let's get together to see a harmony straight to the end.
Thank you very much, Steve. I got even more out of it on the second reading, so it's thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Mm,
Thank you.
okay. Boy, whizzing round we are at the moment, so it's Peter's turn now.
I'm going to start, if I can find it, with Christopher Marlowe's Passionate Shepherd to His Love. Come live with me and be my love, and we will all the pleasures prove that valleys, groves, hills and fields, woods or steepy mountains yields. And we will sit upon the rocks, seeing the shepherds feed their flocks, by shallow rivers to whose falls melodious birds sing madrigals. And I will make thee beds of roses, and 1,000 fragrant posies, a cup of flowers, and a kirtle embroidered all with leaves of myrtle, a gown made of the finest wool, which from our pretty lambs we pull, fair lined slippers for the cold, with buckles of the purest gold, a belt of straw and ivy buds, with coral clasps and amber studs. And if these pleasures may thee move, come live with me and be my love. And that's followed by Sir Walter Raleigh. Did the nymphs reply to the shepherd? An answer to Christopher Marlowe's poem. If all the world and love were young, and truth in every shepherd's tongue, these pretty pleasures might me move to live with thee and be thy love. Time drives the flocks from field to fold, when rivers rage and rocks grow cold, and Philomel becometh dumb, the rest complains of cares to come. The flowers do fade, and wanton fields to wayward winter reckoning yields. A honey tongue, a heart of gall, in fancy's spring, but sorrows fall. Thy gowns, thy shoes, thy beds of roses, thy cap, thy kirtle, and thy posies soon break, soon wither, soon forgotten, in folly ripe, in reason rotten. Thy belt of straw and ivory buds, thy coral clasps and amber studs, all these in me no means can move to come to thee and be thy love. But could youth last and love still breed, had joys no date nor age no need, then those delights my mind might move to live with thee and be thy love. And a couple more Walter Raleigh's. What is our life? It is a play of passion. What is our mirth? The music of division. Our mothers, they the tiring houses be, where we are dressed for time's short tragedy. Earth is the stage, heaven the spectator is, who doth behold whoever doth act amiss. The graves that hide us from the parching sun are but drawn curtains till the play is done.
Amen.
Sir Walter Raleigh to his son. 3 things there be that prosper all apace, and flourish while they are asunder far. But on a day they meet all in a place, and when they meet, they one another mar. And they be these, the wood, the weed, the wag. The wood is that makes the gallows tree. The weed is that strings the hangman's bag. The wag, my pretty knave, betokens thee. Now mark, dear boy, while these assemble not, green springs the tree, hemp grows, the wag is wild. But when they meet, it makes the timber rot, it frets the halter, and it chokes the child.
That's amazing. Oh, another one, Peter.
Just one. This is 2 lines. This is by Anonymous. If breath were made for every man to buy, the poor man would not live, rich would not die.
Yeah, brilliant. Brilliant.
It is.
Yes.
I didn't realise Raleigh was such a brilliant poet, you know. And well, after all that, he got his head chopped off by good Queen Bess.
Seriously.
She wrote
Yeah.
poetry too, didn't she? She's written some poetry, Queen Elizabeth
Yeah.
I.
Everyone
Mad.
wrote poetry.
Well, yeah, allegedly. So did
Courtney.
Henry.
My
Did
God.
green sleeves and all that
Yes.
with Henry.
No, I think it was a sign of being a courtier and being well
Yeah.
brought up. You wrote good poetry.
Yes. Lemmy's playing up. He's starting to whine a bit, so I might have to let him out in a minute. But so he's just down here actually. He's in his bed, but there he is.
Oh,
There he is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're watching you, Lemmy. Mm. So I might leap up and let him out in the garden at some point, but I'll try and leave it hopefully till the break time. Okay, I did much along lines of Steve. I followed the World Poetry Day thing a little bit.
Yeah.
This is called 2 World Poetry Days. Thinking back to the 21st of March 24, when the theme of the World Poetry Day was standing on the shoulders of the giants. And I felt I couldn't write a poem at that time. There was just too much going on in the world.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking now, when the theme is inclusion and peace, and this is the poem. World Poetry Day slipped by me last year. I failed to hear giants' voices singing. Just a silence with no bells ringing. No words of joy came in times of fear when 4 horsemen clattered near. I heard only hooves in the Holy Land. In such muteness, poetry's banned. When my pen finds a voice, it will cry again for the many whose worlds are blown apart, fleeing in a bombed wilderness by foot or cart. I resent my comfort amongst such pain and stay sickened by words like self-defense, where concern for humanity is but a pretense. I lift my pen once more in this dusty stalemate, where hopeless children will learn to hate, and things revert to where they started. World Poetry Days so hard for the tender-hearted. That one. This one is about when I moved up here. I wrote this when I moved up here. It's called Leaving the House. The cardboard boxes are being taped, filled with utensils and trinkets, mementos and memories, some bubble wrapped, and the books, some read, some not. So many words, so many previous pages, I can't abandon them. In the same way, I can't leave thoughts of you. They saw me through the silent time, when conversation was no longer there. The house, now denuded of mirrors and pictures, is developing more echoes and footsteps. Laboured breathing as I empty out our lives. That's for keeping. This is for the charity shop. And all that is stained or torn or just simply old, that can go to the tip. Oftentimes, I dwell on the photographs. You were nearly always smiling, as if every day were full of joy. Ah! Where's the rest of the pages gone? Oh my God. I'll have to find them. I'm going to move on to, I'll find them for part two. I'll move on to another poem, a short one. This is called Poem for a Child in Care. Pack your bags, child of sorrow. Your life is not in your hands. When you dreamed of a better tomorrow, they came to usurp your plans. The friendships made and the trust that grew is as transient as the luggage you hold. And the safe place you once knew is just one of the lies that you've been told. Carry inside the good in the good people you met and the many things you were able to do, that they might meet the future hour yet. In a world of untruth, hold on to things that were true. That was inspired by my daughter worked at a special school and it was closed down at very short notice, and the children were just they were told they moved the next day. They had 1 day's notice. All the friendships they'd made, and they ended up in really strange places. Some of them, it was just appalling, just appalling. They were like parcels, you know. So I wrote that poem. Oh well, it's a great time, I think. Sorry about that mess up.
Yeah, that was a shame because that was lovely, that poem, George.
Yeah, I'll find the other pages are just next door, so I didn't want to break off.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're waiting for me because I'm not really quite okay. Hang on a second there. I'm so organised. Unbelievable.
We regard this as a part of performance poetry, Nick.
Yeah. Right, I will do a quick random poem because
Excellent.
God, that font's small. Hang on, let me get that one bigger. There we go. That's better. I can read it now. Directions. Turn left as you exit the churchyard on a permissive footpath. The path soon becomes enclosed between barbed wire and railings, but offers good views across the valley to your right. On the left, behind the railings, the wood is carpeted with bluebells in spring. At the end of the wood, aim diagonally left across the field towards the stile in the far corner and carry on across rough ground, maintaining direction towards the line of trees, and cross a stream, ignoring the kissing gate on your right. Traces of old fortifications may be seen in the rough grass here. A line of gun emplacements along the ridge provided anti-aircraft cover for an airfield in the valley. Press on and past 2 worked-out gravel pits, following the waymarked trail. At a junction of paths, take the second left between 2 holly bushes. This soon enters a gully, which can become very muddy after rain. Keep ahead for 20 years, then climb the western slope of the gully, squint into the setting sun, and run. Run for your life.
Lovely switch round there. We were all in the country and very gentle, and all of a sudden it became a battlefield.
Yeah.
Have you got the one about the? Have you got the one about the boundary trees? Have you got the one about the boundary trees, Nick? You know.
I can do that.
Oh yeah, that'd be good. Nice contrast.
Slightly improved version as well. The boundary oak. The old maps show a line of trees. Sorry, the old maps throw a line of. The old maps show a line of 3 trees. One has vanished. One is a nettle swarm stump. So the old boundary oak now stands alone, arms spread out, defining its space, pushing back against limits turning air into wood. Every year the trunk grows a little wider, even as it grows more hollow within. Branches have fallen, the top is now dead, black seared bark tracing down to the ground. Few now live that remember that storm, but stunted and misshapen, life returns every spring, growing dark green leaves as vibrant and as fresh as the first leaves on the sapling that grew this long lifetime ago.
Lovely. 3 trees will always trip you up linguistically, Nick.
3 trees
3
clearly
trees.
are not in my wheelhouse for pronunciation.
Yes.
Um,
Got another one for us?
yeah, I'll do the one I wrote this morning.
Right.
What a state we're in. The state is a poor kind of friend, untrustworthy and fickle at the best of times. It reaches out a hand to tend, then pulls away with promises like mimes that have no substance to their sound. As soon as expedience dictates a different course, it spins around. Don't ask why we are in such a state. They're all the same, no matter if they try for a little while to be more kind. You can't look into a politician's eye and be certain of what you think you find. They're pulled so many different ways. You need to find real friends these days.
Very topical.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Always topical, that one.
Yeah. Sue can't stop for long,
Yeah,
but
no,
Sue's got a new book out, Nick, which she will tell you all about.
Yeah, between the words.
Between the
in the
words.
press, and I've got a reading on the 14th of May at Clapham Books, 7 o'clock. If you would like to come, it'd be great to see you there. But I'll hopefully I'll send the details to Peter, and perhaps you could send it round. That'd be great.
What's the date?
Sorry, the 14th of May. It's the Wednesday.
Whereabouts is Clapham Books, Sue?
It's right by Clapham Common tube station.
Right.
It's on the corner there. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
I wish I was in
Brilliant.
London.
I've written it down on a random receipt, as long as I don't lose that.
We've got time. I'm sure we'll get there. Yeah. Okay.
It was quicker than typing into the phone.
Right. It's 1-0, by the way, England v Albania. So if
Right.
anyone's interested or not.
To Albania.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Okay.
You get that's where they get their St George's flags all mixed up, because I think theirs is the same, isn't it? It's Albania, I think, pretty sure.
Well, they were a bit close to Libya, where he came from.
Yeah, true. True.
I thought it was Cappadocia.
What?
St.
You
George.
going? Sorry.
I
you
thought
going
it was
classical,
Cappadocia he came from, which is
George.
Turkey.
St George, yeah.
Maybe he comes from many places like the Green Knight and Arthur. And,
I think that whole event, that whole bit round Turkey was all a bit kind of vague, wasn't it, at one point? I think the Romans spoilt it all by conquering everybody around there.
So, Steve, have you published any of your translations? Because I'd be interested to read them.
So yeah, I'm sending off a manuscript at the end of this month to
Okay.
Anna Maria Mikiewicz, Literary Waves Publishing. So she's going to publish
It's going
it.
to publish. Oh, okay, right. So yeah.
But I'm also going to upload this kind of 100th edition, because I'm a compulsive editor, to my academia site at the end of the month anyway. So you can read it online for free as well.
Okay. So how do I get to that academia?
If you go to academia.edu,
Yep.
and then you just type in Steve Rushton, Interpretations from the Dryden Translation of Ovid's Metamorphoses, which, as you agree, is a snappy title.
Okay, I'm sure I can find you. I can have a look at it. There. Great.
Yeah,
Thank
but don't do that before middle of April,
Oh, no,
otherwise
no,
you'll
no,
have
no.
the old version, which is no way as good as this new
Okay,
version.
we'll leave it then.
No
We'll
way as good as the next version.
wait till April. Yeah, great. Excellent. Excellent. Okay, fantastic. Well, and good luck with everyone.
Well,
And
Hang
Steve
on,
as
sorry,
well.
sorry, Sue. Steve's also appealed to us all we can make contributions if we want on Ovid.
All right. Okay.
He's got some lovely imagery that
Mhm.
he can send out on WhatsApp. No, not WhatsApp. What's the other one, Steve?
Are you on?
Oh,
Oh, you've gone mute again.
yeah, gone muted. It's gone. Instagram. Were you going to say
Instagram. I think it's Instagram.
I've got an Instagram account. I never use it, but I have got one. I could use it.
Are you back again, Steve? Oh no, it's muted.
He's come back.
You're muted.
Can't hear you.
That's
Am
it.
I okay now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you go on the Instagram site, mine is ovid.with.reverb.
Okay. Ovid dot
With
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 reverb. Oh
reverb.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. With reverb.
With
Yeah.
reverb. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'll have a look. Yeah. I will do.
Ovid.with.reverb. Yeah. And
Definitely.
it's got instructions there, and there's lots of engravings that people hopefully are kind of writing poems.
Okay. I'll
based
have a
on.
look. It's interesting. Thank you.
Please,
Yes.
that'd be great.
Yep.
Steve sends out the pictures and we do the text. So I was
Okay.
looking at Adonis getting gored by a boar in the forest.
Fascinating. Great. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to go and leave you all. It's lovely to see you all, and good luck with everything. And Steve, let us know what your book's going to be, because if you let Peter know, I'll try and buy a copy. Yeah.
See you soon.
Right,
Thank
Yeah. I'll see you. Take care. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Bye. Bye.
See you.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, it was nice. Nice to see Sue.
Yeah.
So should we have a little we're racing through time, but it's quarter two now. So if we have a 10-minute break, cup of tea or whatever, or general chat if you want.
Yeah, I just need to
Bye.
get some tea, so I'll be back in 5. Yeah.
Okay. Steve J or Steve R, I think.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I can go.
Chichester.
I can
No, we
go,
go
yeah.
to Chichester first.
Okay, Chichester. So I just want to read some kind of my fragmentary poems that,
Yeah.
and they just are what they are. So see how they scan. Notes. The collection started in print, but then grew online as a colour-coded mix of original and source material that metamorphosized in rehearsals for performance, then metamorphosized again after injections of art that further extended poems until the art became an exhibition the verse and performances were part of. Artificial intelligence also played a role, and everything went crazy for a while, but now it's back on the page, colour coding omitted and all the voices blending into one. The first 8 poems after the introduction are interpretations or covers from the 1717 publication. The rest, although influenced by Ovid and his translators, are largely original material. For more details, including a breakdown of original and source material, see the e-version of this book on Google Play. The final poem, Magdalena van der Pas and Ovid's Metamorphoses, is a medley of mainly ekphrastic verse and exhibition planning. Slowly things began to change, the washing, drying on the lines, all smelling fresh and beautiful, and even though West Wind was blown away, he still accepted gracefully defeat, conceding to this new pretender, soon to be acknowledged as an omnipresent force for change, with truth eclipsing stupefaction, calling her of all his friends the one who can impress the most, the greatest and the windiest of disciplines, imprisoned like a tiger in the picture frame. A limb escapes to freedom for a moment, not the kind that we consider, not the kind that we consider, not the kind that we consider, not the kind we understand. The sun is high advanced and downward sheds its burning beams directly on our heads. Let's by consent abstain from further toils, call off the dogs and gather up the spoils. And when tomorrow's sun begins apace, in morning's coolness will renew the chase. Introduction, it's a rock and roll retelling of ancient myths, some of its metamorphoses, mixing wit with tragedy, critique with a driving beat.
Oh wow. Even a drummer couldn't keep up with that first bit, Steve.
Yeah.
More than a tattoo. It was really good. Really
Man.
good. I love the way you vary the pace as the poem proceeds. Yeah.
Bit of a collage.
Yeah, well, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I did that cento where I, summarized all the poems that the whole group had written, and when I left,
Yeah.
and that's a bit like that. It's kind of and because there's so many words, you kind of speed up your delivery, because you wonder about people's patience when you. But it was well worth listening to that.
Yeah, I mean, I was when I was young as a drummer in a couple of kind of proto punk bands. So I always like fast songs, yeah, and maybe that comes through. It's quite fun to read a poem really fast as well.
It is. It is. Yeah.
Steve,
Yeah.
were you influenced by Keith Moon?
Yeah, lots of people ask me who's my favorite drummer, and yeah, Keith Moon's a great drummer. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Great. Okay.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
You listen to his early stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time you hear him, you think, wow, yeah,
Incredible.
yeah.
But
Who
you're-
are your favorites as well, Steve?
He's one of my favorites. Yeah, I like Keith Moon. His style is very distinguished.
It is.
Yeah, very distinguished. His style of
Yeah.
drumming.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I think it
Do you
would.
reckon
I mean, I prefer early Who to late Who, and it's quite nice because the early Who is kind of quite, there's something quite strict beat about them,
Yeah.
but then you get Keith Moon going wild in the background, and it just
That's
works
exactly.
so well.
Yeah. Tremendous. Yeah, amazing, man.
Yeah. Well, you're redefining beat poetry, Steve. Anyway,
A different
yes,
sort
yeah.
of beat.
That's cool.
No.
That's cool.
Yeah. Quite like the jazz clubs of the '60s in America when they
Wow.
that's when they originally came out with the beat poetry. Yeah.
Is that true?
Ginsberg and that lot, they referred to all that as beat poetry.
Yeah.
Was Buddy Rich amongst them? Buddy Rich.
You there, George?
No, they were just poets. Yeah, I think.
I'll get you.
Yeah, but they had like a whole stream of words that was so
Yeah, I understand. Yeah,
so
okay.
fluent.
Yeah.
Which I quite like actually. I just like that sort of being washed over with words. It's lovely.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, so Steve, can we hear from you now?
Sure, George.
Yeah.
This one's is called Retirement. Over the years, I have persevered in work, getting up in the morning as I venture to work, coming from the Midlands with issues of concern that now I have triumphed with work well learned. I am proud of my achievement and success to make it known that it is not the end and do of progress. So as I'm drifting into retirement, I can now see the love and skill and endearment, which has made me so much happy, overcoming illness in all kinds of unfairness. I thank my friends and loved ones for believing in me as I now stand up in a new position to be, giving utterance to a new chapter, writing my love to now encounter.
Very nice, Steve. That reminded me of you wrote a lovely poem a few years ago about. It was quite simple. It was about a bus journey into work.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah, it kind of triggered in my mind that one.
Okay, yeah, I remember. Yeah. It's just a journey, which I was influenced. But this one's called "She Cried."
Right.
The tears came down from her eyes as she cried. Her partner, bad to her, has now died. Irrespective of his attitude, she loved him to bits, to now see that he has gone suffering from fits. She is hushed and comforted by her family, who dearly loved her as a kind somebody. So dry up your tear and cry no more. You stood beside him till the end of day. Many in society has had their fair share of disappointment, So for this day, we'll get together and close a new amendment. Let's show love to the whole world and never be lost out like a stubborn mule. Our time has come to give thanks to another day so that everything will be all right as we pray.
Well,
Thank you.
thank you, Steve. Yeah, some women have horrible lives, don't they? Really.
Yeah, it's horrible. Yeah, totally. Yeah,
And to be abused and end up as a carer for the person.
yeah, I
What
know.
kind of love is that? You know, it's incredible.
There's so much domestic violence in there, George.
There is, I'm afraid. Yeah, yeah. And we live in a violent world. I mean, we don't. Our role models become people like Trump, who and Netanyahu, always talking about vengeance and bombing people, and it's all about money.
Yeah, it is literally. There's no empathy. There's no care about nobody. It's people just walked over.
Yeah,
it's sad. And stuff like that.
Yeah. Anyway, keep picking up on these social issues because that's what you're good at. I think you kind of look at the world and what goes on in it, and this comes through in your poetry, Steve. So
thank you, George.
Keep it up. Us retired people have got to stick together now. You're 66.
We have to. Honest to God, we have to.
Yeah.
Thank you, George. Appreciate that.
Mr. Russian's keeping quiet about his age. He never mentions it.
I'm 65, so I'm getting my retirement in November. So I'm going to be in
excellent.
Well, Nick's
so
the
my
baby.
bank balance is dropping down,
baby
so I'm not sorted again. I'll be financially solvent again.
Oh, bless you,
Part of my
Steve.
grand plan.
Oh, what a man!
You're gonna sneak in for retirement money, Nick, when you're 65, or will you have to wait till you're 67?
67.
Is it?
I'm collecting my work pension.
Occupational, yeah.
That's not so bad.
Yeah.
And the last month I've been going nowhere and spending nothing, so it's been quite good. I've been
if Rachel Reeves carries on her current trajectory, we'll all end up with nothing.
Right. So. Tell me about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, can we move on to you now, Nick?
Yep.
Thank you.
So I don't know if Peter explained his screensaver behind him.
He did.
Right. In that case,
we heard about your hand and your knee and your
and telephone, mobile phone,
and the mobile phone.
So while that's bright.
That's shiny. That is.
It is.
Turn the light on behind. Maybe that'll help.
Yeah,
you still can't see
it. Big difference.
Well, while the phone does the job of Robin and does his poem for him, I wrote another one that goes alongside it. So if I get set up, this is feeling free to interrupt. 2 poems played out in perfect synchronicity. Robin Pilcher's homage to John Cage's 4 minutes 33 seconds plays out upon the mobile phone. While I obliterate tranquility. Let us listen now to ourselves. Our thoughts. Distractions born of concentration. Bird song. Traffic. Where are you? And when? What stage of life? Drop pebbles and watch. The ripples spread. And drop. And drop. Drop in. Drop out. Drop through. Robin's poem, still flowing past, unchangeable but changing, moment by moment, nonetheless. While I interject slow syllables. One by one, by one, by one. Get one free. 2 poems for the price of 1.
Very well done, Nick. Was
You
that
did.
4 minutes, 33 seconds?
That was
Very good.
only slightly painful.
I've got a comment to make. Don't be offended, but you haven't got Steve Rushton's sense of rhythm.
I disagree. I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was absolutely brilliant.
It was great. It only made you think, actually, the pauses and the way you did it.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do you see this as a kind of light bulb moment, Nick? Because I mean, it just felt
Yeah, it did.
quite
Literally.
different listening to that.
Mm.
And it made me think, wow, there's lots of things to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to listen to that a lot, really. That's really good. It kind of, it's so novel what you've done there, Nick. I haven't heard that before, and it's and I haven't heard that, but I heard that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It made me
Yeah.
reflect on
There was
little
no
phrase.
bird song here, though.
No, no.
Yeah, are we waking up in the middle of the night thinking about this? Yeah, it's
I tell you what,
fascinating. Yeah,
it's
really good.
struck a chord with you, hasn't it? It's hit the right note.
Mm.
The
Nice
drum
one.
roll for that.
Amen.
Yeah. That was very interesting. Nick, you got any more for us? While you're
I
on a
can't
roll?
follow that. That was just
No.
genius.
No, you
No.
can't. You can't.
Totally.
So that came with you did that in the meeting, did you? You did.
Yeah. Well, I did some of it. I did sort of I did write more and improve it on the way home.
Right.
On the bus.
You're such a clever
And
sod, aren't you,
afterwards.
really, Nick?
He's amazing.
Yeah, the basic thing I did during the meeting, but yeah, and to be honest, the get one free line was a spontaneous input from the other people around the table.
They
When
didn't
I
tell you to
started
bog
going,
off.
buy
then.
one, buy one.
We told you
Yeah,
to
that,
bugger
that
off,
was
bug off.
it was a bit of a collaborative effort all round, really.
Amen.
But yeah,
That was really good. It's so interesting to listen to that. It's kind of set me back on my seat a little bit. Nick, you're very novel. So are all of you. But that was excellent.
Brilliant, Nick. Well done, mate.
so I'll try and follow it up with this one then.
Yeah.
Which is called Everything Everywhere.
Okay.
The photon arrives at the very instant it departs to show us a single star that I just lost this page on. Sorry. Wait a second. I lost my place. Sorry. The photon arrives at the very instant it departs to show us a single star 1 billion years ago. For the light itself, no time at all has passed. It conveys exactly the moment of its birth. The miracle is that we can catch it and stop it in its tracks with just one glance. 1 billion years is long enough for stars to die and give birth to succeeding generations. The night sky is a time machine with all the history of the universe revealed to us, and yet it draws a veil across the present.
Lovely, Nick. Thank you. Scientific but philosophical.
Yeah. And this one's called Chasm. Anxiety is fraught with spikes, an unmapped solo trip through white water. It is naked feet on razor shells and fractured high-pitched screams, a personal, randomly returning hell. Violent like the sea, dragging sailors to the depths. Violent like the wind that whips tornadoes into town. Worry just grinds on, round and round, day after day, never getting clinical, never going away. Restless like the sea, turning pebbles into sand. Restless like the wind, blowing lifetimes into dust. Battered and bloody, I am in the ravine, trying to keep my head intact. And the doctors on the bridge, way, way up above, throwing pills into the torrent. At first, I'm swearing at the fall, half choking on each epithet, but then I see the waters calming as each pill spreads out upon the surface. Underneath, the turbulence gets worse, but the top is slowly hardening. The next bit's quite impossible as I pull myself above the gloop to kneel up on the slick. It is that or going under. How long do I balance there before I reach out for the rock wall and begin to climb? I want to reach that smug man on the bridge. I want to throw him in. It takes me months to reach him, to climb the crumbling sandstone cliffs and stand upon the dust. But when I do, we hug.
Lovely. Was the smug man you?
No, the smug man was the doctor.
All right. What's he doing on the bridge?
Throwing pills. It's a metaphor.
Yes.
Oh,
We were throwing metaphors.
You just reminded me of a poem I'd just written and forgotten. Which was about waking up after an operation. So yeah, I'll have to do that next time. I'll have to find it first. But that's the trouble. You write this stuff and you lose it, don't you? Well,
It's terrible, terrible.
Anyway, can we move over to Peter?
I'm not going to do anything as exciting as those, but I'm going to read some Robert Frost.
Do you know, Peter, someone was on the internet today saying he wasn't a good poet, and I thought, you smug little bastard. He's going on about, Lewis, about some of the other 1930s poets, how much better they were. And I thought, no, Robert Frost, you can understand what he says, and it means me, and he, to my mind, he was a great poet. Yeah. Anyway, carry on.
Right. As it's spring, I'm going to read A Prayer in Spring by Robert Frost. Oh, give us pleasure in the flowers today, and give us not to think so far away as the uncertain harvest. Keep us here, all simply in the springing of the year. Oh, give us pleasure in the orchard white, like nothing else by day, like ghosts by night. And make us happy in the happy bees, the swarm dilating round the perfect trees. And make us happy in the darting bird that suddenly above the bees is heard, the meteor that thrusts in with needle bill, and off a blossom in mid-air stands still. For this is love, and nothing else is love, the which it is reserved for God above to sanctify to what far ends he will, but which it only needs that we fulfill.
Great.
Right. Mending wall. Something there is that doesn't love a wall, that sends the frozen groundswell under it and spills the upper boulders in the sun, and makes gaps even two can pass abreast. The work of hunters is another thing. I have come after them and made repair where they have left not one stone on a stone, but they would have the rabbit out of hiding to please the yelping dogs. The gaps I mean, no one has seen them made or heard them made, but at spring mending time we find them there. I let my neighbour know beyond the hill, and on a day we meet to walk the line and set the wall between us once again. We keep the wall between us as we go, to each the boulders that have fallen to each, and some are loaves, and some so nearly balls we have to use a spell to make them balance. Stay where you are until our backs are turned. We wear our fingers rough with handling them. Oh, just another kind of outdoor game, one on the side. It comes to little more. There where it is, we do not need the wall. He is all pine, and I am apple orchard. My apple trees will never get across and eat the cones under his pines, I tell him. He only says, good fences make good neighbours. Spring is the mischief in me, and I wonder if I could put a notion in his head. Why do they make good neighbours? Isn't it where there are cows? But here there are no cows. Before I built a wall, I'd ask to know what I was walling in or walling out, and to whom I was like to give offence. Something there is that doesn't love a wall, that wants it down. I could say elves to him, but it's not elves exactly, and I'd rather he said it for himself. I see him there, bringing a stone grasped firmly by the top in each hand, like an old stone savage armed. He moves in darkness, as it seems to me, not of woods only and the shade of trees. He will not go behind his father's saying, and he likes having thought of it so well, he says again, good fences make good neighbours.
Wow.
And
it's incredible.
Fire and ice. Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I've tasted of desire, I hold with those who favour fire. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction ice is also great and would suffice.
Lovely. Yeah. Got any more, Peter? Is that it?
No, just those.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Peter.
Useful. I mean, yeah, this critic of him was sort of saying, you know, he wasn't as good as T.S. Eliot and Ezra Pound, but to me, he communicates in a way that is very simple and direct, and you can connect with it. And I think he's a brilliant poet, Robert Frost.
Yeah.
Really do. Brought out the critic of a critic in me. I think who was it wrote a poem about critics? I think it was Jim wrote a poem about critics, and he wrote, you know, I do miss Jim when he's not here. Sounds a bit kind of strange, that, but he's, yeah. Anyway, I've got a couple of poems. I've got one here that is about the autumn equinox. Samhain, it was called in the ancient Celtic tradition, Samhain. And a Marge is kind of a magical person. So, hello, what's Nick come up with there? Some interesting people behind him. Oh.
They're just a couple of good neighbours.
Neighbours. It's Kylie, isn't it? And Jason. Yeah.
Kylie and Jason, indeed.
Yeah. Oh, right. Okay. Anyway, this is a Samhain moment. I stood by the marge with moss green hair and face as white as frost, under the ancient oak tree, considering all I'd lost. Ways of speaking to the birds, of knowing when the seeds would grow, and flying up free with the flies and the bees and things I now don't know. In her sad eyes, I see her tears as clear as the mountain dew. I weep for you, she said, and the things that you once knew. You knew when the salmon would leap the streams, when ants would grow their wings, how the poppy flower would give sweet dreams, and knew the sweet songs of the blackbird as it sings. The things we loved have passed with time, hedgerow fruits no longer gathered, but the seasons still have their rhyme, and some still cared for what once mattered. This one is a place to stay. Lay me down where the clear water flows, sparkling in sun, shining in frost, brightened by a flashing kingfisher, gentled by shading willows, moorhens bobbing and mallard flotillas, all with their gaggles of chicks in tow, following faithfully, not getting lost. There I would stay, never waking, in rain or snow, sun, mist and sleet. Yet some such wishes can never be granted, though my dreams are free for the taking. And there's a bit of a medieval touch here. Farewell, warrior. My lady of sorrow, weep not for me, for life's been as full as I hoped would be. Though I sought not riches, I sought not pain. Had we not met, I'd live over again. So dry those eyes, nothing lasts forever, not rose blossom, nor sweet purple heather. Let me feel those lips soft as a feather, to think of the days we spent together. This lifeblood now spilt because of a war will never diminish what went before. The smell of your scents, the touch of your face, the fall of garments, the tender embrace, are moments I'll carry away with me as I embark to sail on the endless sea. That will do, I think, yeah. Oh, well, we won 2-0, by the way.
All right.
What, Albania?
Against
Yeah.
Albania, yeah.
Was it Cappadocia we were playing?
Cappadocia, yes.
Those United, yeah.
It was tiramisu or something, wasn't it? A tiramisu or something? Tiramisu Republic. Well, it's been nice, isn't it, tonight? I've enjoyed it.